Welcome back to Pocket Psych. I want to start today with a statement that's going to bother some of you. The person in your life who never forgets anything, the one who remembers every detail, every date, every name, every conversation you've ever had with them, they are not necessarily a better person than you. In fact, there's a growing body of psychological research suggesting that an exceptional memory can quietly do something uncomfortable to a person's character. Something nobody really talks about. Today we're pulling back the curtain on the psychology of people with a great memory, what's actually happening inside their minds, why they are the way they are, and the one thing about them that most people notice but never say out loud. But before we get into all of that, let's talk about you for a second, because chances are you've spent time on the other side of this equation. You've stood in a room with someone who remembered everything while you remembered almost nothing. And somewhere in that experience, quietly, without even realizing it, you started to feel a little lesser, a little careless. Like the fact that you forgot their name or lost track of a detail meant something unflattering about your character. Like forgetting was a moral failure and remembering was a virtue. That feeling is completely understandable. But today, I want to challenge it at its root. Because once you understand the psychology of what's really happening inside the mind of someone with a great memory, you're gonna stop putting them on a pedestal. And you might even start to see something in yourself that you've been undervaluing this whole time. Let's start with the basics. A great memory is not magic. It's not a superpower randomly assigned at birth like eye color or height. In almost every case, it is a skill. A deeply trained, highly structured, and very deliberate skill. And understanding how it works starts with understanding how memory itself is built. Your brain stores information in what neuroscientists call associative networks. Think of it like a massive web. Every single thing you know is a node in that web, and every connection between two pieces of information is a thread. The stronger and more numerous the threads connecting a piece of information to other things you already know, the easier it is to pull that information back up when you need it. People with exceptional memories don't have bigger brains. They have denser webs. They've spent years, sometimes without even realizing it, building more threads, more hooks, more anchors between new information and existing knowledge. That's the foundation. Now let's break down what actually separates someone with a razor-sharp memory from the rest of us. The first thing is something called intentional encoding. Most people receive information passively. Someone tells you their name and your brain kind of half catches it the way you half catch a ball you weren't expecting. But people with great memories do something different at the exact moment they receive new information. They immediately and consciously begin processing it. They ask themselves, even if only for a split second, how does this connect to something I already know? What does this remind me of? Why is this worth keeping? They're not just listening. They're actively weaving the new information into their existing web in real time. It's the difference between tossing a new file loosely onto your desktop and immediately dragging it into a clearly labeled folder inside an organized system. One of those files you'll find in 10 seconds. The other one you'll be searching for until the end of time. The second thing is emotional tagging. The human brain has a biological bias toward remembering anything connected to emotion. Fear, joy, surprise, curiosity. These emotions trigger the release of norepinephrine in the brain, which essentially acts like a highlighter on a memory. It tells the brain, this one matters, hold on to it. People with great memories tend to be naturally or deliberately curious about almost everything. They find the interesting angle in whatever they're learning. They let themselves feel something about the information, and that emotional tag makes the memory stickier, longer lasting, and far easier to retrieve later. The third thing is systematic review. This is where the science gets particularly interesting. In the 1880s, a German psychologist named Hermann Ebbinghaus discovered what he called the forgetting curve. He found that within just 1 hour of learning something new, most people forget more than half of it. Within a day, that number climbs even higher. But here's the key finding. Every time you deliberately revisit a piece of information just before you're about to forget it, the forgetting curve resets and flattens. The memory becomes dramatically stronger. People with great memories, whether they know it or not, tend to naturally revisit what they've learned. They think about their conversations on the drive home. They mentally replay a meeting the next morning. Some of them even keep journals or notes. And every single time they do that, they're re-etching the memory deeper into the brain's long-term storage. So that's the machine. That's how it works. And honestly, it's impressive. There's no denying that. Building those habits, training that kind of attention, developing that level of intentional processing, it takes real effort and real discipline. But here's where the conversation gets uncomfortable, and this is exactly what I promised you at the beginning. Because there's a version of all of this that is genuinely beautiful. The person who remembers what you said because they care deeply about you, who brings up the detail you shared 3 months ago, not to prove anything, but because they were truly listening and they want you to know it. That kind of memory is an act of love. It makes people feel seen. It builds trust in a way that almost nothing else can. That version of a great memory is one of the most generous social gifts a human being can offer. But then there's the other version. And if you've spent enough time around someone with an exceptional memory, you already know exactly what I'm talking about. It starts subtly. A small correction here. A precisely recalled date there. An unsolicited reminder of something you said 18 months ago that you'd completely forgotten, delivered with just enough calm confidence to make you feel slightly embarrassed for not remembering it yourself. And underneath all of it, quietly humming like a machine left running in the background, is a sense of superiority. Not always loud, not always obvious, but present. Unmistakably present. Here's my honest opinion. And I say this with care because exceptional memory is genuinely impressive and genuinely useful. But people with great memories can sometimes, not always, but sometimes, develop a kind of subtle superiority about it. They know they're good at it. And over time, that knowledge becomes part of how they see themselves. And perhaps more importantly, how they see other people. There can be an unspoken implication in the way they wield their memory. That forgetting is careless. That not remembering means you weren't really paying attention. That memory equals respect. And if you don't have the memory, maybe you don't have the respect either. It's not always conscious. In many cases, it's completely unintentional. But spend enough time with someone whose memory is exceptional, and you'll sometimes feel a quiet judgment underneath the surface. A faint air of, I remember everything, so why don't you? That, to put it simply, can come across as a little stuck up. Think about it this way. If someone never forgot a single word you said, but used that perfect recall to quietly keep score of every contradiction, every inconsistency, every small forgetfulness on your part, would you feel seen, or would you feel watched? There is a meaningful difference between a memory that serves connection and a memory that serves performance. And here is the psychological reason this happens. When a person spends years developing a skill that consistently earns them admiration, that skill begins to fuse with their identity. It stops being something they do and becomes something they are. And once that shift happens, any reminder that other people don't share that skill starts to feel like confirmation of their own superiority, rather than simply a difference in how two brains happen to work. Psychologists call this the better than average effect. Most people already believe they are slightly above average in most things. But for someone whose memory has been praised and admired their entire life, that belief doesn't stay subtle. It gets loud. It gets confident. And sometimes, without them even realizing it, it gets unkind. The most socially skilled people with great memories understand this distinction instinctively. They use what they remember to make others feel valued, not to make themselves look impressive. They bring up the detail you shared last month, not to demonstrate that they tracked it, but because they genuinely care about how it turned out. That is memory used as warmth. But then there's the other version. The one who drops the precise date and context of something you vaguely mentioned 2 years ago. Not because it's relevant, but because they want you to notice that they remembered. That's memory used as a credential. And yes, that version, a little stuck up. To be fair, having a great memory does come with real social power. Research consistently shows that people who remember names, details, and personal stories are rated as more trustworthy, more charismatic, and more likable by those around them. Dale Carnegie famously wrote that a person's name is, to that person, the sweetest and most important sound in any language. And when someone proves they remembered your name, your story, your preferences, it genuinely feels wonderful. It signals that you mattered enough to be retained. That is a real and meaningful gift that people with sharp memories can give to the world. The issue is not the memory itself. The issue is what motivates its use. Memory in the service of ego is just a very sophisticated way of reminding everyone else how sharp you are. Memory in the service of others is one of the kindest and most underrated social skills a person can develop. So, where does all of this leave us? Whether you're someone who forgets names the moment they're spoken, or someone whose mental filing cabinet never seems to lose a single document, the truth is the same. The brain you have is not a verdict on the person you are. The person who forgets was likely too busy feeling the depth of the conversation to lock in the surface details. The person who remembers everything has likely spent years, consciously or not, building systems that make retention feel effortless. Neither is inherently better, neither is inherently worse. What matters at the end of the day is not the precision of your recall. It's what you do with whatever your brain holds on to. Are you using it to connect? Or are you using it to compare? A name, a date, a detail. These are just keys. But the person standing in front of you, their story, their soul, the life they're quietly carrying, that's the whole house. And the most meaningful thing any of us can do, whether we remember every key or drop most of them at the door, is to make sure the person inside that house always feels like they were worth showing up for. If this video gave you a new way to think about memory, whether your own or someone else's, leave a comment below. Have you ever met someone whose perfect memory felt a little less like warmth and a little more like a scorecard? Tell me about it. I genuinely want to know. And if you found value in this, share it with someone who's always saying, I never forget a face, a name, or a single thing you've ever told me. With that particular tone in their voice. Maybe this will give them something to think about. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next journey into decoding the human mind. Goodbye, and see you in the next video.